Surprise, everybody! My name is Dan Selke, and I am here with Daniel Roman. We are the two editors together of winteriscoming.net, a site that covers all things sci-fi, fantasy, movies, and TV. And we have so many opinions. We are overflowing with them. We're here for a special little surprise show. Well, we'll fix that as it goes. Where we are going to respond to some questions, and I can hear you now. Daniel, are you good?
Great.
We're going to respond to
so.
some yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me. Everything is aces. And we are going to respond okay, Savannah. Hello. We're going to respond to some queries, questions, responses that we've gotten on Twitter, because I put up a whole bunch of prompts on Twitter, on our Wick Twitter, which is 165,000 followers strong. Thank you very much. We're just growing. I want to get to like 18 million or something by the end of the year. And you all had a lot of great opinions about House of the Dragon, and I wanted to go through some of them and just sort through what the people are saying. Daniel, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. It's only reasonable to do. There's certainly Westeros, so we might as well have some here on the channel. Anyone watching, you want to throw extra questions out, throw them out through the very thought that we have received.
Comment system.
Exactly.
And I guess, yeah, Savannah, you're telling Dan to smile. I guess it's like it's which Dan. This is the only fantasy sci-fi podcast hosted by two people named Dan. It's tricky. It's no one's ever done it, and we are pioneers in our field. All right. So one of the first questions I asked was about, what do you think of the House of the Dragon title sequence? This new title sequence that they debuted in the new episode of House of the Dragon, where it was blood sort of flowing between different sigils on what, if you ask me, is a nondescript, boring-looking stony labyrinth. And we got some good responses. One person, Skywalker_Mark on Twitter, said, I like it, but I think it would be better if they put the names down of the family tree, because I don't think a lot of people are going to know what it's supposed to be, which I completely agree with. Daniel?
Yeah, that's pretty fair, I think. Just did a breakdown of this family tree today.
So good.
Fans, I expect to know who Aenys the First. Not
Aenys Targaryen. Yeah.
Who's gonna know that? Aenys Targaryen. Yeah. So I think that I like the idea they were going for. The showing how the blood of old Valyria trickled Targaryen today. It's cool. Is maybe a little cooler than the actual execution, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you like it? What do you think?
I completely am in agreement with you that it's a cool idea, that the idea is cooler than the execution. I also see what @Kirsty_Keen says about, honestly, I'm a bit disappointed the show doesn't get its own theme. Love the Game of Thrones music, but still a bit disappointed. I was a bit disappointed, but it's still cool. Leo also has a new question on the YouTube. Do you think the end credits of episode 2 should have been the opening theme of the main credits? The end credits should have been the main credits.
Song was.
Neither do I. I don't know, Leo, because my memory is bad. I'm in my 30s. It's gone. I don't remember things anymore.
Yeah.
But let's move on to another topic. I also asked very... Go ahead.
Just on music note, I saw a video today that was cutting Daenerys Targaryen music as like an alternate cut. Dragon is the name of the song, and that was really cool. I wish they had done some different music.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I personally hope that they might think of changing it. Okay, Eric with a good question, a dangerous question. Besides yourself, who is your favorite A Song of Ice and Fire podcaster? God, to be completely... The horrible truth is, Eric, I don't really listen to other Song of Fire podcasters. I know they're like Game of Owns is very good. I'm sure that Javi Marcos on Los Siete Reinos, I have a lot of respect for him. I'm sure he has a good one. The official one with that guy and
The
that
official
woman. I'm
sure one's good.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really look
Jason
any.
can
But I do. That's the one. Yeah.
I mean, I like the official one. Obviously, the answer. I'll be honest. I don't listen to Song of Ice and Fire podcast because we're so all the time. I personally, I think cool. They're kind of different enough that I enjoy it. They basically did a rewatch of the one person who had seen it a bunch of times and one person. So that was
cool. I like
fun.
that. Yeah, I always like kind of
night.
The Longest Night. Okay, there you go. See, we get around. We are setting the trends, not following them. Okay. My next question, I asked a bit of a triggering, sort of intentionally inflammatory question. I asked, which was more upsetting to watch, the Red Wedding or the C-section from the first episode of House of the Dragon? We got a lot of responses, a lot of them very heated. A lot of folks telling me that's ridiculous, the Red Wedding, which I understand, but get some thoughtful stuff too. For example, at Nevs Bangs says, I don't think anything will ever compare to Emma Aaron's birthing scene, and knowing the fact that it could happen to just about anyone in real life makes it scarier. Jackson 21 Bart writes, upsetting the Red Wedding. But if we're talking which was harder to watch, that's a tougher call to make. Just one more. At Linksa007 says, the Red Wedding, because we cared more about the characters at that point in the story. Visually, maybe Emma's was more upsetting, though. I think that about captures it. But yeah, it's kind of hard to compare a scene in the premiere to a thing like the Red Wedding, where we had known these characters for years and were very upset when they died. But they did go a long way to making sure we remembered that birthing scene, and just the visuals of it were something new under the sun that I had not seen. Like, I'm always impressed that there's like over 100 years of movies and TV history, and they're still finding new visual ways to gross people out with the horrors of the human body. And I applaud them for digging deep. It's an art. Applaud them for digging deep, finding something new to show us that was both emotionally and viscerally bracing.
Yeah. Yeah. The Red Wedding, kind of the thing back around to like Savannah over on the Twitter, is harder because it had characters we were involved, like half the main cast of the show at that point. So that's different. But I think in terms of being like visually difficult to watch, this is pretty bad. For me, the worst is still Shireen Steak. That is my go-to. Oh. This is my to watch in Game of Thrones, period, still.
I'm with you on that one. Shireen's death has always been the one that personally disturbed me the most. Killing kids, man. It's just, it's hard. As Martha says, I wasn't bothered by the C-section. Is something wrong with me, or am I desensitized? No, Martha, you're normal. And I want to make like a joke, but I don't want to offend anybody. No, it's fine. People have different reactions, and you are great. Yeah. All right. I also asked our lovely Twitter followers another controversial question. Is House of the Dragon off to a better start than Game of Thrones, now that we've seen 2 episodes? As Rebel Girl, or Joanna Stark, who is a very good who has a very prolific Twitter user and who has a lot of good comments, wrote, I think the first episode of Game of Thrones was slightly better than the first episode of House of the Dragon, but they're both very good, and I enjoyed them both, which I think is the consensus, more or less. We got at Rediger Ken saying, I don't know yet. Season 1 of Game of Thrones was insane from the start. Parenthetical, who seriously throws a kid out of a window? I think the writers for the benefit of Game of Thrones to see what viewers want, which is true, but I I mean, they have the benefit of what works and what doesn't, but Game of Thrones pretty much worked from the start. It's a weird situation to like. They're not really following up on a thing that was broken and they have to fix. They're following up on like the biggest thing that ever was, and how do you take it to the next level? So
Yeah.
there's a very high bar to clear. So far, it looks like they're clearing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, the Game of Thrones opening was so iconic. I think it was a little more unpredictable. Again, that's hard to really judge because coming in like what was going to happen, how it went down, but enough to know that he male heir he wanted. Something about that White Walker opening, Bran going out, House of the Dragon had maybe a more confident start, confident and polished.
I agree. Yeah.
Show with
polished, definitely.
Actual events. Yeah, I think the first episode of Game of Thrones hooked me more.
Yeah, fair enough. You hate House of the Dragon, I get it. I also I like at the Night King. That's exactly what you said. And that time we'll quote you.
Yeah.
How the Night King 2 said, just glad the first 2 episodes have been great. Was worried it would disappoint, but so far so good. I do think the show is benefiting from a collective sigh of relief throughout kind of everywhere that, oh my God, it's not terrible. Like, I really think that is part of the reason it's been so positive. People have been holding this desire in for a long time. And just, you know, the record on sequels, prequels isn't great, at least not until very recently. So the fact that it's as good as it is and not terrible, I think is giving it a bit of an edge, because especially after season 8, people had problems with it. I think there were people going into it thinking, I don't know, maybe not expecting the world, and then getting something that was on par with the original show was a nice surprise, even though we should have expected it, because what else would they give us?
I totally agree with sigh of relief is definitely benefiting. We're going to see that, I think. The collective sigh of relief of every, and then, oh, thank God it's not awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Work, bitch. I also had a quick question on the wigs. I asked, what do you think of the wigs? And we got responses. I mean, not many, just a variety from example, Ozai Nimavilla, not bad, quite well made, all the way down to at @hip_4first, who says, terrible, looked like a blanket on her head. The wigs are varying in quality. That's one area I think they're going to fine-tune as the show goes on. I'm betting the wig craft in general, because there's never been a show with this many silver blonde wigs. I mean, and I'm not trying to be flippant.
Think of.
I mean that, like, that's a new specialty that some wig master is going to have to master before they can really make the perfect silver blonde wig show for us. But yeah, they have varied in quality. Moving on.
Definitely this is great. I like his a lot. But I saw his, and he's another one. I think his wig's really good. It's personal preference.
Exciting.
But yeah.
I'm here for the wig debate. I also asked another pretty general question. House of the Dragon, what are you looking forward to? And got some juicy responses to that. For instance, we had at direwolf_dragon say he's looking forward to all those lovely fleshed out details and context that add meat to the bone that we don't get in the book. Oh, and Olivia Cooke absolutely owning it. Olivia Cooke being the actress who plays Alicent Hightower as an adult, which is juicy. We also got Kyle Katarn 1985 saying he's looking forward to the coming war, the long-awaited Unleashed Dragons, and some of the links to Game of Thrones, like the announcing of the winter in the first episode. So just everything, which I can also sympathize with. And finally, we got a very funny Twitter person who I think is a good account. I like this account, at Nice Queen Cersei, who just says blood and cheese, and it not being the fun after dinner treat everyone thinks it is. A few people said blood and cheese, which we won't spoil what that is. I will say I had like a little fever dream last night when I had too many cookies and I had a bit of a sugar high, and just thinking like of all the big moments in, I should have done it, in the Dance of the Dragons, like from Fire and Blood, and I was thinking like, now that I have an idea, a basic idea of like what the show's going to look like, feel like, what the show's going to be like, I'm thinking of some of those huge horror moments like Blood and Cheese, and just picturing these flesh and blood actors in them, and just kind of the style we've seen, and I'm like, whoa, that could be really intense.
Yeah. So we, again, like you said, it's going to be a red wedding moment of we're going to be talking about for sure. I'm kind of worried season because we know we're getting season 2 now. It's like it's going to end with
3,
with a certain.
Well, no.
Direct response to something I think is going to happen at the end. So we'll see what happens. I'm most excited for it too, for sure.
This show is going to get really freaking brutal. And again, people, they're already so into it, and they're people are going to get so upset. But we'll see that. We'll see when we come to it.
Yeah.
And finally, I ran some polls just asking people, what's your favorite blank? I asked which episode so far was better. Pretty even split. We had of around north of 1,000 folk voting, saying that the Heirs of the Dragon, around 53% voted for that, and the Rogue Prince about 47% for that. So pretty close. So far, so good. 2 in, pretty consistent. 2 points make a line. I don't know where it's going from that, but nice. I also asked who your favorite character was. And Twitter, by the way, only allows 4 choices per poll. So, okay. But between the main characters, between Visenya, Rhaenyra, Daemon, and Alicent, Viserys and Alicent got like almost nothing. And Alicent got more than Viserys, which I didn't expect. I like Viserys. But by far, it was between Rhaenyra with 51% and Daemon with 39%. Daniel, do you think that those two are the ones who have clearly pulled ahead in your heart, or is it just Twitter?
No, I think they definitely have Viserys and Alicent too, but so again, I've seen ahead.
Oh, true.
I think a lot. I think Rhaenyra and are the ones who kind of plant their flag as you're gonna really enjoy. Most people I've talked to or Daemon the most.
Daemon is definitely a good impression.
It's no longer that actor playing. We're only gonna get her for a few episodes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do wonder if the affection will carry over into adult Rhaenyra. We'll see. Mohammed has a question on YouTube, which I'm going to try to parse here. Do we think that Aemond One-Eye, I think that's the name Aemond One-Eye, is the son of the Rogue Prince because Alicent lost her V card to the Rogue Prince? No. Aemond One-Eye is definitely the son of Viserys. I haven't heard that theory, Mohammed. I mean,
No.
Is that a theory? I've not heard that theory.
Yeah, I'll just say it. No.
I doubt it. I mean, maybe.
Unless
they have a big curveball coming.
Yeah, I think explicit that Aemond is Viserys and Alicent's kid, because Alicent never might be thinking of Rhaenyra.
True.
Rumor is that Rhaenyra in the book.
The Rhaenyra.
Yeah, It's according to Mushroom. You will.
Mushroom. I miss Mushroom. Remember Mushroom. I mean, but we'll see. I doubt it, but that would be a fun theory if they whip that out. I also asked who your favorite secondary character was. This was more split between Otto Hightower, Corlys Velaryon, Rhaenys Targaryen, and Criston Cole. This one was more even. I think Corlys Velaryon pulled ahead with 29%, but Rhaenys was right on his heels, 28%. And then finally, favorite tertiary
Who's
character.
your favorite?
I mean, I don't really know any of them that well yet. Honestly, I don't love any of the ones on the secondary list. Fair. If I had to choose, I guess I'd say I don't know if I like any of them. But I do have an opinion on the favorite tertiary character. I will say that.
I bet I know what it is.
Yeah, I know, but you do. For this one, I had Mysaria, who was Daemon's almost wife, who a favorite sex worker. Lord Commander Harold Westerling, Lionel Strong, who was the other Kingsguard member, Master of Laws, who Viserys kind of consulted for a tick in the latest episode. And then Master of Coin, very elderly Lyman Beesbury, who's betting on Daemon. And even in that latest episode, in the new one, he had like one line. He just went like, "Oh dear me," when I think the dragon egg was stolen. And I found it funny. I don't know what it is about this guy. So I like Harold Westerling. I like his energy. And I'm hoping for Lyman Beesbury to get like a scene to himself. I mean, I know he will eventually, but like before that, I want to get to know Lyman Beesbury a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
I want you to know that I as well voted for Lyman. So I want more Lyman Beesbury too.
More Lyman in my life.
Of those tertiary. I was surprised with the secondary one. I guess we haven't had, but mine out of those characters is Chris and I'm at. So I'll be curious to see what people think.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously we're 2 episodes in. Everything is going to change as we keep going. New episode Sunday nights. And we are going to recap every new episode of House of the Dragon and review it live Sunday nights at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, a half hour after it ends. So join us on the Winners Wing Facebook page and the YouTube page for that. We're also doing our normal Wednesday shows at 4 o'clock CST, same place, same time to discuss everything else going on in the entertainment world. And we might do more mailbag episodes if you guys like it. And we'll keep you up on your toes for that. And I know there were some technical difficulties. I apologize for Daniel. He's impossible. But we're going to have that all fixed for our future stuff. Sorry, Daniel. I love you. So thanks for watching, everybody. And we will see you very soon. Goodbye.
Care.